Time now, though, for the markets with Leighton, and you say U.S. ag exports are likely to set a record for this fiscal year?
That is the latest projection, but those numbers, they're not as high now as they were only a couple of months ago. Also ahead in the markets this week, the new crop corn price is being pressured by weather forecast. Some analysts say the consumer resistance to high choice beef prices is showing up, while no shortage of chicken McNuggets in Russia is likely. We will explain that. We begin this week, though, with the row crop markets. At the market open on Thursday morning, corn futures were trading a half-cent lower to a couple of cents higher following release of the weekly export sales figures. Now, instead of the projected 600,000 or so metric tons in net export sales last week, not quite 159,000 tons of U.S. corn were exported. Meanwhile, analyst John Roach insists corn supplies will be tighter as fall approaches due to the delayed harvest in some parts of the country. He predicts a volatile old crop market in the meantime.
We think that it makes sense to make sales when the market stages a rally and comes up a little bit of a cyclical top, and in fact, as we had one of those this week, and so we advised our readers to make some sales on corn this week. But we also think we'll have 2 or maybe 3 more of those during this summer period. We think it's going to be a very volatile market, particularly in old crop corn, as we go all the way through this summer. The one thing we know for sure is we have delayed the harvest date or the beginning of harvest on corn because of the weather conditions we have. And so we think that the supplies are going to be very, very tight prior to coming into harvest. And so we think a volatile market with several peaks, but we think the one we had this week was one worth selling a piece of the inventory in the bin.
Meanwhile, the wheat sector is being termed a bear market by most analysts these days. Analyst Jamie Kohaki says we're looking right now at a fairly large world supply of wheat.
I'm still bearish wheat right now. There's no major weather concerns worldwide. There's no supply problems worldwide either. So I'm bearish, looking to sell 755 December wheat. That's up close to some key moving averages, and would like to get short up in there until we could run into some more dire situations somewhere, weather or supply-wise.
Brownfield Ag News reports U.S. agricultural exports for the fiscal year 2013 are likely to set a record, but not to the extent projected earlier by the USDA. As this year rolls on, the numbers continue to slide. Now, as we noted at the top of this market segment, net exports of U.S. corn were down last week. And in the bigger picture, USDA's chief economist, Joe Glauber, says they are down, quote, considerably. Now, wheat export projections also fell in the latest Trade Outlook report. But export projections for U.S. oilseed products, and for cotton are trending higher. We wind up the row crop sector of our markets with a trivia quiz, one about the dairy industry. How many Mississippi counties have 1 or more dairy farms now? Here are your choices. Is the answer A, 28, or B, 34, or C, 49, or D, 65? You'll find out the right choice right before our feature story. In the second half of the markets, we focus on livestock, beginning with some analysis of the cattle trade. The Brugler commentary noted this week that consumer resistance to the record high choice beef prices is showing up now in post-Memorial Day restocking plans by retailers. I asked Extension Ag economist Dr. Brian Williams some questions about his impressions of the market situation for cattle on Thursday morning. Brian, the story in cattle recently seems to be low futures price but high cash live cattle price. What are you seeing in the next few weeks here as far as the meat sector?
Well, I think in the next few weeks we'll probably see a lot more of the same. This has been the case for the last several weeks, and what we're seeing is the corn prices are kind of driving some of the futures markets, but at the same time the feedlots have to fill up their pens, and you know they've got to pay more for them on the cash market.
Now, you mentioned corn prices there. Now, as far as what we're seeing, particularly in feeder cattle, is that the main culprit there, yeah, the high corn prices?
In part, yes. The corn prices have been creeping up over the past couple months, and that's been cutting into some of the feedlot margins. Combine that with the beef prices coming down a little bit after Memorial Day, and it's causing some pressure on the feeder cattle markets.
All right, in your other visits, we mentioned the importance of grilling season, and of course we've got Father's Day coming up. Can that really help in this situation as far as these retail sales? Of course, we've got a problem there as far as I understand there's signs of the consumer resistance growing now to maybe to what the beef prices are.
Well, hopefully we can keep our demand strong. Again, there's some concerns. The prices this week have come down a little bit, but that's normal coming off the Memorial Day holiday. But hopefully the consumers will continue to get out there and keep buying the beef despite the high prices.
And we still have the lingering, as many economists talk about, the sluggish U.S. economy, that along with those retail prices could be at play here.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. There's kind of mixed signals coming out of the economy. Last week there were a couple different reports coming out. One of them said that consumer spending was down in April, but part of that was because of energy prices coming down, but at the same time consumer confidence is up. And so there's really some mixed signals in the general economy.
Cargill has announced the opening of a major poultry processing plant in Russia. The company says the major focus of this operation is supplying chicken McNuggets and other chicken products to McDonald's fast food restaurants in Russia. The new facility employs 140 people. It is able to produce 18,000 metric tons of further processed chicken products a year. The Cargill plant is located less than 200 miles south of Moscow. Before our feature story, let's check the trivia answer for this week. And the correct choice is B. 34 of the 82 counties in the state have one or more dairy farms. The total number of dairy farms for Mississippi now 105 as of December 2012.